Today, we are diving deep into one of the single biggest challenges for public blockchains, getting them ready for prime time. And it really all boils down to one word: scaling. So let's break down exactly why these networks are so slow, and more importantly, what's being done to fix it.
Right. Let's just get straight to the point. We all live in a world of instant payments, instant data. So if blockchain is supposed to be this game-changing global tech, why does using it sometimes feel like it's moving at a snail's pace? And this chart, wow, it really puts it into perspective. You've got Bitcoin chugging along at maybe, 4 to 7 transactions per second. Ethereum does a little better, around 15. But then you look at traditional payment networks. We're talking thousands of transactions in the exact same second. That is the massive performance gap we're trying to close here.
Okay, so that gap is just huge. It makes you wonder, what's the fundamental reason for this bottleneck? Is the design just flawed?
Well, it's not so much a flaw as it is a core feature that creates this very limitation. The root of the problem is what we call the processing everything everywhere paradigm. See, in a decentralized network, every single computer, every node, has to process and validate every single transaction. Think about it like a global committee of thousands, where every single member has to approve every tiny decision. Of course, progress would grind to a halt. That's basically the challenge. So how does that stack up against the systems most of our audience probably works with every day? Well, it's a completely different world. With a traditional centralized database, you have one powerful server doing all the heavy lifting. It's specialized, it's efficient. Blockchains, on the other hand, use this redundant processing model for security, but the trade-off is that the entire network speed is limited by the power of just one of its computers.
All right, so if that's the core problem, what are the workarounds? I mean, how do you actually scale the network without just throwing away decentralization?
There are a couple of major approaches, and the first one involves building solutions on top of the blockchain. These are called second-layer or off-chain solutions. The whole idea is to take most of the work off that main congested highway.
So what does that look like in practice? A great example is the Lightning Network for Bitcoin. It uses something called a state channel. You can think of it like opening a private tab between you and someone else. Inside that channel, you can send hundreds of transactions back and forth almost instantly, and the main blockchain doesn't see a thing. It's only when you're ready to close the tab that the final balance, the net result of all those little transactions, gets settled as one single event on the main chain.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense for things like micropayments. But what about scaling the entire network for bigger, more complex stuff? Are there more fundamental architectural changes on the table? Yes, and that's where we get into actually changing the base layer itself. You've got a couple of big ideas here. One is creating a network of networks, things like Cosmos or Polkadot, which lets separate blockchains talk to each other. The other big approach, and the one we're focusing on now, is called sharding.
Sharding, that term sounds really familiar. It absolutely should, especially if you've ever worked with large-scale databases. See, sharding wasn't invented for blockchain. It's a classic database partitioning technique. You're just taking one massive, monolithic blockchain and breaking it up into smaller parallel chains called shards.
And how does breaking it up actually make it faster? Well, it totally transforms the system. Instead of that one giant, slow committee trying to approve everything, you've now broken it into dozens of smaller, specialized subcommittees. Each shard is basically its own little blockchain with its own transactions, and because they're all working in parallel, the total transaction throughput of the whole network just skyrockets. So for anyone coming from a database background, this is just horizontal scaling, right? Exactly. Instead of trying to make every single node more powerful, that would be vertical scaling, you're just adding more parallel chains to distribute the load. It's the key to real, long-term scalability because the network's capacity can grow as more people join. Okay, hold on. Breaking the network into all these little pieces feels like it would create a whole new set of problems. What happens when an application on one shard needs to talk to another shard? How do these independent blockchains communicate securely? And you've just hit on the final and maybe the most complex hurdle for sharding. Getting a sharded network to act like one cohesive system means you need a super secure and reliable way for all these different shards to talk to each other. So what's the official term for that mechanism? It's generally called cross-shard communication. It's basically the set of rules that lets one shard trust that something happened on another shard without having to reprocess all of that other shard's data itself. And that is absolutely critical if you want to keep the speed benefits you got from sharding in the first place. So how does it actually work? Well, the main method is something called a receipt mechanism.
Let's say shard A does something, like send some funds. It then creates a cryptographically secure proof of that action, which is the receipt. That receipt gets sent over to shard B, which can then check it, verify it, and take its own corresponding action, because it can trust that the event on shard A was legitimate.
But is just passing receipts back and forth always enough? No. And this is where it gets really tricky. Think about this. Say you want to book a flight, and the flight app is on shard A, but the hotel app is on shard B. You need both of those bookings to go through or both to fail. You absolutely don't want to get stuck with a plane ticket but no place to stay. Building a system that can handle that kind of all-or-nothing transaction across shards is a huge engineering challenge.
Which really leaves us with the big, open question for the future of blockchain architecture. Is it going to be a world where second-layer solutions handle most of the traffic on a few ultra-secure base chains? Or will we see one massive sharded blockchain become the dominant model? Or maybe it'll be a whole universe of interconnected, specialized blockchains. The answer is really going to define the next decade of this technology.
And that's our look at the challenge of scaling blockchain. If this breakdown was helpful for you, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech that's building our future. Thanks for tuning in.